The right YouTube. It is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Tuesday evening about 9 p.m. I just took a shower and washed my beard, and I wanted to talk about some games that need some love. I've been seeing a lot of hubbub about all these new games and even some old games, but I haven't seen anybody talking about games that I feel need some love. Now, this list is not exhaustive. Obviously, I have quite the library. Wiki Snapper, what's going on, sir? Hold on one second. I got to get this stream out. Let's see. I probably got an email because I went live. Yeah, I got to spam this out to the world, my brother. Give me a second here. All right. I got to spam this out. Share, copy, and then we'll go close that. So give me a minute here. I'm not ignoring anybody, but I gots to do the jam. Put it out on MeWe. I got to make a post here, so bear with me. I mean, it's Valentine's, and so we got to talk about love, So I got to get this posted all over the webs. I gotta find my peeps. Oh, that's chats. We don't want to go into chat. We want to post. And then we go Control V. Well, Command V, because I'm on a Mac. As a big shout out to WikiSnapper, he updated my my channel logo because I de-Google-fied my life. It was easier than you think. And I wanted to give him a shout out and say, thank you, sir. It was much appreciated. You did a great job. I know it's easy for you, but for me, it would have been a monumental task. And I probably could have figured it out, but I'm not that smart. So I believe in the brute force way of things. So I want to talk about, there's a couple sci-fi games in here, so we'll post it there. So I got to go through MeWe. I got to go through Facebook. Oh, we got to get this in Low Fantasy Gaming. Okay, I think we got that. That's there. So let's go to Blue Sky and make a generic post there. I don't know. I'm not really enamored with this Blue Sky. I guess it's the afterbirth of Twitter. I don't know. I'm not that smart. I posted it. I'm done. Let's go to Facebook. Get it on there to my groups. Mr. Mean Speaks. A big shout out to everybody on Facebook. Our community is growing a little bit. It's pretty cool. If you haven't joined Mr. Mean Speaks, please hit me up on Discord. Join the YouTube. Let's see. I'm also on Stoat now. I have Mr. Mean Speaks on Stoats. So if you're not on Discord or you're jumping ship, we'll talk about the whole Discord fiasco here in a bit. But I definitely want to. I don't know. I'm not going to post to the RPG Forward Observer because they are. I don't know. They're blocking all my posts or something. I don't know what's going on. So. GUI Game Master Den of Enlightenment is pretty cool Facebook page, the GUI Master. GUI Game Master's Den of Enlightenment. If you haven't checked it out on Facebook, go check it out. It's pretty funny. Pretty cool site. I don't think I have any superhero games in here, so we're not going to go there. Go to the Nerdverse. I don't know how many people are on right now, but I hope everyone is doing well. RPG lovers in the house. Nope, 18 posts there. I don't know. It's private group, 671 members. But again, I have 18 posts pending. They've not been approved. So I don't know what I need to do to get those posted. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not quite sure why it's marking them. Creative RPGs is another really good Facebook group. Creative Indie RPGs. All right, let's go to horror. Tabletop. This one's got one pending post, but maybe the admin's been out for a little while, so I will cut them some slack. Heroes Unlimited, I need to unjoin that because, well, I tried to run Heroes Unlimited and it was painful to say the least. It made me not want to do Heroes Unlimited anymore. I do love me some Mutants and Masterminds. They're coming out with a 4th edition if you don't know about it. Flights of Fantasy fans. I'm just checking to make sure. Minimalist RPGs. I don't think that one really qualifies. Mothership, another awesome website. Another cool game. I'm just trying to see. 5 Parsecs, Supers, The Red Room, Medieval, Paint My Bones. I don't know why I'm on there. I don't have any Bones miniatures. I need to leave that group too. Achtung Cthulhu. That is a really, if you haven't checked out Achtung Cthulhu, you need to. It's really well. It's part of Modiphius's line. It uses the 2D20 system. My good friend Brian ran it, and I got to play in it for a little while, and I'm going to tell you, it's a good game. We'll put this. Do I have a Modiphius game in here? I don't want to shoot myself in the foot because I don't want to post to. I don't have a Modiphius game. I don't want to post if it's not in there. Autism of the Seas is another really cool site. What's Old is New. We got to go there because if you haven't checked out What's Old is New by Ian Publishing, this is a really good one. It's the first one on the list only because the book is small. These are going to be in no particular order, but I just want to talk about some of the games and maybe, you know, the people that watch this, maybe they'll okay, that's everything there to Facebook. Is that socials, YouTube, StreamYard? Okay, we're done. All right, I'll look at that later. Let's go back to StreamYard. All right, here we got WikiSnapper is the only person in there. There's 3 people watching. If you're in the chat or you're there, pop in the chat and say hi, please. Let me give you that shout out. I have so many Bones minis. I bought a Kickstart pack and they were new. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The Bones thing is very, very attractive. But at the time I was living, when they did their Kickstarters, I was living in a rental house and I just did not have the room. If you watch some of my earlier videos, the one where the bookshelf was directly behind me and it was vertical, I just didn't have the room and I had like a little tiny table to paint on and it wasn't. I have a whole room now, almost as big as this room, not quite. And it is dedicated to 3D printing and my miniature. I have one 3D printer, Uniformation GK2. I love it. I live up here in the Great White North, so I need a printer with a heated bed. And at the time, I bought it last July, so almost a year ago. It was the only printer that had a heating bed that was affordable, and it was a big sale. And I've already told the story on my Mr. Mean Paints channel, which WikiSnapper made that logo as well. So thank you, Wiki. If you're in the chat, please pop in and say hi. Love to give you a shout out. So I wanted to start the discussion. I haven't made a video in like 2 weeks. I was sick. I was supposed to have gone to Con of the North this past Valentine weekend, but with all the upheaval in the cities with ice and everything, I just didn't feel comfortable bringing my wife and my son. My son is autistic. He's 9 years old, but mentally he's probably around 4. And he shuts down when like you yell at him or you talk sternly to him. And these ICE guys, I'm not going to get into it because I don't do politics, but I just didn't want to put my family in that situation. So I thought it discretion the better part of valor, and I backed out of the convention, which sucks. I really wanted to go, but I'm glad in a way I did because the hotel alone was going to be like $600. So I saved some money. Sucks I don't get the t-shirt. I reached out to Con of the North asking them if they would refund my entrance fee and stuff, because they sent an email out saying that they were not supporting ICE and they weren't going to let ICE in the building. And I'm like, you know, whether you like it or not, they're still law enforcement. They are recognized as a federal law enforcement agency. And if, you know, you don't argue with the cops in the street, you get your day in court and you argue there. I'm going to leave it at that. But anyway, I didn't want to put my family in that situation, so I chose not to. Moving on. That is all I'm going to say about that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 tabletop RPGs here. These are in no particular order. I don't like one more than the other, but these are 8 games that I feel need some more love. And maybe it'll bring some awareness to you. And if you don't already own them, maybe you can pick them up. If you do, tell them Mr. Mean sent you. Use my drive-through affiliate link if you want to do that. You can always throw me donations via Zelly Pay, or I have a Patreon. It's $5 a month and all that fun stuff. So anyway, the first one on the list is What's Old is New. This is old. This is the digest size. And I have to give a shout out to my buddy Brian. Thank you, Noomsy. He sent me these kind of as a gift because I was talking about them. And then I bought the big hardbacks because I loved them. I don't care too much for the now version. So if you don't know, this is a D6 dice pool system. You have levels, but it's almost, I don't want to say GURPS. It's kind of a generic system. There's no like default setting. There's a touch of a setting in their books, but not much. It's basically for you to make it up and do as you want. And so I'm not a big fan of D6 systems. Everybody knows that. But this is one I really like. I don't know what it is about the system. I just like it. I feel like you have a lot of control over the character you build. I'll bet you one of those in the chat there is me. I bet. Watch, if I close this stream, I bet you the view goes down by 1. We'll see. Yep, it sure did. So, yeah, man. You know, it's a cool game. It uses a D6 dice pool. You start out at a certain level. You use you purchase dice. Basically, you have so many points when you build your character. They have a fantasy setting, which is old. They have now, which is a modern day. So if you wanted to play a modern day espionage, spies, you know, that kind of thing, that you would use the now setting. And then they have the what's old is new and new. Yeah. And the new is the sci-fi. So we lost another viewer. So hopefully someone pops in, but I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts. And you know, unfortunately, these live things never go too good. Oh, we're back up to 3. If you just popped into the channel, pop into the chat there and say hi. Other than that, yeah. So What's Old is New. Have you heard of it? Do you play it? Have you played it? I've run it a couple times. And I've really enjoyed it. I really like the sci-fi version, because they have a couple of source books out and they basically pillage Star Trek, Star Wars, you know, any generic sci-fi you can think of. They have pretty much made something out of it. And Emrys, hey, what's going on, ma'am or sir? I'm not quite sure. Scotty 442. Wayne, What's Old is New, ROG, since it came out. Love it. Oh, yeah, Scotty, it's great. Thanks for popping into the chat, Emrys. Sir, ma'am, I'm not quite sure. I don't want to assume. Scotty could be a female. In fact, I have an aunt named Scotty. So I haven't picked that one up, which is likely to be my mantra on this. Matt, how are you doing? Oh, it's Matt, whoever Matt is. All right. Sometimes people have different YouTube names than they do Discord names, so I'm not always quite sure of who everybody is. But anyway, that's awesome. Scotty, that's awesome. You've been GMing it since it came out. If you have room for another player and you're playing online, keep me in mind. I'd love to play, because I've never played. I've only GM'd. That is the story with most of my games, but I do love the digest size. They have no plans. I did reach out to the folks at Ian World when they republished they did the Kickstarter, which I have the box set down there. the box set, which you can buy off their website, which I think is about $30. Correct me if I'm wrong in the notes or in the chat here, but yeah, it's pretty cool. The starter box is really well done. I was very impressed with it. Scotty, do you have Scotty 4442? Do you have the Kickstarter box? Did you back the Kickstarter? I did. And like I said, love this game. I think it's really fun. I've GM'd. I haven't GM'd old. I've GM'd only new, which is the sci-fi version, and I really enjoyed it. So super cool. So yeah, what's old is new. Let me know if you have it. Obviously, Scotty has it. WikiSnapper maybe might pick it up, and the starter set as well. Yeah, I have all 3 books in the big book size and the small book size. Like I said, my good friend, before you join the chat there, Scotty, my good friend Brian sent me these 3, and I love them. And I think the new one is 1.2. I think this is 1.1. I can't read it. It's too small. I think this is 1.1. I don't know what says it on the back, but anyway, still super cool. I love digest size books. I don't know what it is about them. I really get a kick out of them. I enjoy them. So I got to find a spot to put all these books. 1.3 is the newest. Thank you, Scotty. Yeah, I think I have 1.2. I did not get 1.3, but they did say there wasn't a whole lot of changes, so I didn't see a need to buy another version. I already have 2 versions. So the next one is one of my all-time favorite games. I played the original. I tried to GM it and about exploded my head because I just didn't have the mental capacity at that point in my life. But Slay Industries, I backed the Kickstarter for Slay 2.0, and Jared and those guys over at Nightfall Studios, they also did the Terminator RPG, and I believe they did Blade Runner. I'm not sure. So Jared Earl, Chris Shepardson, and Mark Rapson. Dave Alsop too. These guys are awesome. They've done a lot of work for a lot of stuff. They've done art for a couple of other games. I think Jay Lasardi from Broken Rat Games has some of his art, some of Jared's art in some other books, or maybe even Dave. I can't remember. Artist. Does it say artist? Layout rules. No, it doesn't. S5S. Updated rules. Combat is way smoother. The guns aren't so kludgy as they were in the original. It's just really well done. If you love Slay, this is the, I mean, if you love grimdark future, I'm not talking 40K, I'm talking so dark and oppressive, and the things you do are bad things, but you're just trying to make your life better because it is literally a dog eat dog world and you're just trying to survive. But you work for Slay Industries or Mr. Slayer. And the great tagline from the original game, and I don't know if it's still in this one, it maybe was Scotty, is Blade Runner done by Nightfall Games? Let me know. I can't remember. I know they did Terminator. I was not a fan of the art direction that Terminator went, and I really couldn't see, for me, Terminator just didn't hit the spot because you're fighting these machines who can take way more damage than you can, and your chances of survival are slim to none. To me, it's like a game that there's no light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And some people like that. Some people like that dark drama RPG. It's not for me. So I didn't back it. I don't have any of the books. Thanks, Scotty. Yeah, I don't remember. I thought they did Blade Runner, but I could be wrong. But yeah, the S5S system is it's kind of it's a D10 system. It's very cleaned up. The art in here is very crisp. The art is amazing. And it's really one done. I think they've put out 3, maybe 4 books. Wiki, I think all you got to do is reach out to Jay, and you could probably work something out with him because Jay is a super awesome dude. But yeah, Slay Industries. I don't know if you've checked it out, if you've played it. I've never played it. I've only GM'd it, and I did enjoy it. Yeah, Scotty, I am not a fan of Osric. I don't have anything against it. It's not my cup of tea. If I want like OSR or Osric type games, I play Castles and Crusades. That's my jam. Or I'll run GURPS, or I'll run Genesis. I like systems that are a little bit unique, and D20 systems just really most of the time do not grab me. I like Castles and Crusades, and I've made many videos on it. Um, I have White Star, which is an Osric game, which is kind of like a homage to Star Wars and all that. It's a really good game, but it uses the old AD&D rules set. So yeah. So Slay Industries, let me know if you've checked it out, if you like it, if you don't like it, what don't you like about it? Have you played it? Have you not played it? I don't know. Let me know. We've got 5 people in the chat now, so if you're in there, pop in and say hi. Let me give you a shout out online. Uh, I love GURPS 4th edition, man. I have just about all the books, and I have so many PDFs. It's not funny. We're up to 8 people. If you're in the chat, please pop in and say hi. We're talking about a bunch of different games that I like. You guys can read. Yeah, Scotty, GURPS is fantastic. I'm a big fan of GURPS. So Slay Industries 2nd edition, super awesome. If you've played it, let me know what your thoughts are. I really like it. I've only GM'd it. I've never played it. So uh, the next one, this one is a big friend of the channel's, and that's not why it's in my list, even though he is awesome. It is Earl of Fife's Heroes and Hardships, and Jason is in the channel a lot. GURPS is my favorite. Thank you, Nolan Inquisitor, I think. Is that how you say it? Thank you so much. Yeah, GURPS is a jam. It didn't make this list only because there's a couple live play games out there and stuff. And GURPS I consider old school. And these are more, I don't want to say newer games, but they are on the newer end. But if you haven't checked out Heroes and Hardships, this is GURPS and D10, actually. Now that I think about it. This is really good. The art in here is fantastic. And this can do anything. So Jason is a huge fan of Legends of the Five Rings, like me. And yeah, Wiki, H&H, Heroes and Hardships. This can do anything. This can do medieval Japan, superheroes, sci-fis, Western. Oh, he did announce a revised 4th edition. That is super cool. I'll have to keep an eye on. If you have a link, I don't know if you're on my Discord or not, but jump on my Discord there and post a link. I would love to check that out. And I'm sure if you're not familiar with our Discord, it's Mr. Mean Speaks, where we talk about all kinds of tabletop RPGs. And one of the cool things is we have an unwritten rule that says if you talk about something, you got to post a link. If you're talking about a game or a Kickstarter, it was on the GURPS forums. Okay, so they should be mentioning something soon. But if you're not, we call ourselves the Meanies. They're the Meanie Horde. I was a huge WoW player back in the day, so when I created my YouTube channel, it just the Meanie Horde, and it just kind of stuck. So if you haven't joined the Mr. Mean Speaks Discord, I'll put a link down in the doobly-doo, but definitely check it out. You can also go to my YouTube channel, Mr. Mean Speaks, and there's a link, permanent link to my Discord in there. And I can also provide a link to Stoat in the show notes here as well if you don't want to use Discord because reasons. I think unless you're living under a rock, you know what I'm talking about. But Heroes and Hardship is fantastic. If you like GURPS and you don't want to buy all the books, this is solid, Scotty. If you haven't checked this out, I highly recommend it. And you can use my affiliate link on DriveThruRPG. I'll put all that in the show notes. Or like I said, you can go to one of my previous videos. I have over 600 videos on YouTube. So you can definitely check them out. So yeah, Heroes and Hardship, phenomenal game. D10 roll and keep system. I like D10 systems, and this is phenomenal. The art is amazing. Jason is a super nice guy, and he runs some amazing Kickstarters. He's done some supplements for Dragonbane, if you're a big Dragonbane fan. He's done some stuff for Mothership, which is a space horror sci-fi game, which is really good. And yeah, Jason's just a hell of a nice guy, and he has a ton of supplements on drive-through for this game. So you can pretty much run just about whatever you want to run. I need to run a game of this. I just haven't got around. I've been having a real hard time with motivation and work and everything. And it's winter. Get you down here. I live in the frozen north, and you know you're stuck inside most of the time. Chupa, what's up, dude? Chupa is online talking about a bunch of different RPGs. Chupa, Heroes in Hardship is fantastic. Support an indie publisher. Jay is awesome, or Jason is awesome, and he makes really cool games. So this is awesome. Wraithbane, I believe. Wraithbane is the Dragonbane supplement. I have a copy. Jason is kind enough to always send me a copy of everything he does, and I do my darndest to review everything. So check the doobly doo out, and you'll see a review of it. Again, we got 6 people in the chat. I talked to 3 of them, 4 of them now. So if you're sitting in the chat, pop in and say hi. So Heroes in Hardship, Earl of Fife Games. He's also very prolific on my Discord. So again, if you're a Discord user, pop in there if you have questions about the game or you want to know anything about it. Jason, I would keep saying Jay. Jason is always in there, and you can reach out to him, or Earl of Fife, and you can say, hey man, what's up with this game? And I'm sure he will tell you lots of great things about it. And again, this list is in no particular order. And if you see something that you know or you like, pop it in the chat there and let me know. The next one is one that I really dig, and I didn't find out about it until it was a little too late. But Low Life 2090 by Pickpocket Press, which I think they have some of the best logos in the game. That's their logo down there at the bottom there, Pickpocket Press, and that's their Low Life logo. This is Cyberpunk using their Rules Light system. It's a phenomenal game, guys. It's rules light, but it's different. If you don't like Shadowrun and you don't like Cyberpunk, I love the Shadowrun world. I cannot stand the mechanics. But if you like Cyberpunk or Fantasy Punk, this is kind of a combination of both because it has magic in it. It has the hard tech. All right, Scotty. Thank you, sir, so much for popping in. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. Thank you very much, man. And keep playing GURPS. And what's old is new, man. You're awesome. Thank you. It's high danger. Yes, Wiki. So what's cool about this is I have a problem with games. I shouldn't say I have a problem. I prefer games that have a high lethality rate where getting hurt is real. It's not like Pathfinder. I ran Pathfinder for 2 years, Pathfinder 2nd edition, and I love it. I think it's a great game. The problem with Pathfinder 2nd edition, my players, we stopped at 8th level, and the problem is they're gods. They can't get hurt. Emrys, yeah, you're totally right, Emrys. So what's cool about this is you do a shit ton of damage. You have low hit points. So if you're an OSR fan or an Osric fan and you like that, AD&D feel of where you have high damage output but low health, you're gonna love this. And if you like Cyberpunk, if you like Shadowrun, but you don't necessarily like that world or you don't like those mechanics, this is the game. It is just a very unique setting. It plays really well, and it's just a lot of fun. This is the same guy that did Tales of Argosa or Low Life Fantasy. Low Life Fantasy was the first version, and then this came out, and then he wanted to redo Low Life Fantasy and make it a setting that was rich and verbose, and he called it Tales of Argosa, and it's set in the Midlands, which is an area that he's getting ready. Um, Low Fantasy Gaming is the name. Yes, thank you. Low Fantasy Gaming is the fantasy setting, but it's now called Tales of Argosa. Super awesome. Go check it out if you haven't. This is pretty much the same mechanics, but in a Shadowrun / cyberpunk dystopian future. Corporations own everything, and you are a ganger or a corp or Politico or whatever, and so you can play the kind of game you want to play if you find a group. I really like this game. I would like to run it again. I had a lot of fun running it for my meanies on Discord. So it's another one that I'm going to get to the table again. Have you played it? Have you checked out Tales of Argosa? I think you can pick up all the low fantasy gaming stuff relatively cheap now because Tales of Argosa is out. The nice part is if you pick up Tales of Argosa, all of the low fantasy gaming stuff is compatible with it. So you get a lot of bang for your buck there because there's a lot of stuff out for low fantasy gaming. But Low Life 2090, fantastic game, very underrated. Yes, they are all on drive-through. Use my affiliate link, and they are really great games. And as a matter of fact, in case there's people on here that are not part of my Discord, let me do a quick invite to the channel. Copy that, and I'll put it in here. Boop. So that's an invite to my Discord. Boop. There we go. And then let me put a link to my, you know what, I'll just do this. Might take a minute for that to go through. There we go. There's all the links to everything, all my socials and everything. So I need to put Stoat in there. I don't have Stoat in there yet. Let's see, I don't know. Can I do a, let me, oh yeah, there we go. That's for Stoat. So Stoat Chat is an alternative to Discord with all the drama that's going on with Discord. So yeah, if that helps. The next game in this tour de force of awesome games is one from my good friend of the channel and my personal friend. And it's one that I don't think gets enough love because it is a super cool game, is League of Seekers. Oh, this one got scratched. Bummer. Look at that. I didn't see that. Oh, man. You call me insane, but I see the world as it truly is, and what I see is horrifying. So this is Victoria, England, turn of the century. This is your Call of Cthulhu Gaslight, but it's a little darker. It's a cool game. You can play a vampire. You can play a half vampire, I believe. And there's just all kinds of cool stuff. This is one of Jay's games. If I remember correctly, this is a percentile game, if I remember correctly. And it is black and white. It's really cool. You play a seeker, which are like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, if you like that. That's basically what this game is. Very simple character sheet. Nothing to write home about, but man, you'd want to talk about a sleeper game. It's a cool game. And if you haven't checked it out, I really recommend you do. Oh, there's the character sheet. So yeah, like I said, it's a percentage-based system, bunch of skills. It's a really cool game. There's a nice GM reference section. I don't know how well that's going to, oh, there we go. Nice GM reference section. And the art is, Jay, this was at a phase when Jay was doing a lot of generic art and stuff and clip art for free. But just some stuff in here that just will give you nightmares. The thing on the cover alone, I'm hoping he does a second edition of this and maybe go somewhere with it. But it's super cool. A lot of cool medieval, or not medieval, but historical, creatures and stuff like that, horrors, and just, I mean, there's your obligatory Cthulhu. You got to have that, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Have you heard of League of Seekers? Jay does amazing work. This is a chunky book. I mean, just cool art. Look at that. Look at that. It reminds me of Brotherhood of the Wolf. If you've seen that movie, you could totally run that type of movie. If you're a fan of that, you could run it in this game easily. Oh, do we need our big scary cultists? Because we got them. So yeah. So League of Seekers, Broken Rat Games. This is amazing. If you don't have this, I highly recommend it. If you're into horror, if you're not into horror, then this probably isn't the book for you. But it is phenomenal, and I think it's great, and you should check it out. And Jay gives a nice forward in here. And a lot of cool stuff. This is a great game. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend Broken Rat Games, League of Seekers. Again, you can get it in Discord. You can get it in DriveThru RPG. Jay has a plethora of games. My favorite game that he makes is Black Iron. Blood Iron or Black Iron? Black Iron. Blood Iron. I never remember the name of the game. It's a fantasy game where the dwarves have been exterminated and the elves are evil. And if you like grim, dark, like Warhammer, that's the game. But anyway, very cool game. Go check it out. Broken Rat Games. Jay Lasarde, phenomenal. Black Iron. Thank you, Wiki. I could not remember. I always want to call it Blood Iron. We got 6 people in the chat, man. If you're lurking, pop in and say hi. Let me know you're on here, especially if you're a meanie, man. The next video du jour is the guys over at Indie Publishing. Shattered. This is a trippy game, guys. They had their own dice. Look, I got it signed. All the guys signed it for me. How awesome is that? So Indie stands for It's Never Dark Enough, which was a tagline. I am a Kickstarter supporter, but I did an interview with these guys. Wiki says, I have a copy of that too. I wasn't expecting to have any of them. The art in here is phenomenal. I highly recommend this. It is kind of a bleak game. It's set way in the future. We went underground. We came out, and the planet is all messed up. And it is it's just out there, guys. There's no other way to put this. I'm trying to say, Alexander. There's a bunch of great artists in here. Crystal Sully, Derek Poole, Giorgio Graysau, Jeff Brown, Joshua Perezkowski, James Palumbo, just some cool guys. Some of them are on the Discord, and I chit chat with them very regularly. I don't know if they've done anything recently. This Kickstarter, they successfully fulfilled their Kickstarter. All their books got damaged, and I think the publishing place that they were using screwed them. And so one of the guys, the developers, had to borrow money from his parents. He had to borrow $10,000 to do another print run so that they could fulfill the Kickstarter. And I think they paid extra to get it expedited, and it was a nightmare. And they just got screwed over. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're out of the industry because it was so ugly. And and it's not anything they did wrong. They did everything right. They got screwed over by the Chinese publisher that was printing their books. So just sucks. But my copy is pristine. There's nothing wrong with it. And like I said, it's signed. The art is amazing. I'm trying to see. Yeah. So you've got airships, you've got all kinds of crazy stuff in here. There's like a lava field, it's like glass. There's all kinds of crazy technology, airships, uh, shields, biogenics. But then they have like an old Sears and Roebuck's catalog of all their weapons because there's a lot of retro tech in the game as well because very few places have access to technology and stuff. So they've got to make things that, work. Crafting and stuff is a big thing. But look at that art, man. Tell me that's not super cool. So amazing art in the book. Great character creation. Just the book is just chock full of super cool art. If you haven't seen this, Shattered, a grimdark RPG, it's grimdark, baby. They even had a set of dice, which were kind of cool. I got some like playing cards that had all of like the art on it and stuff, so it was super cool. They are great guys. If you get a chance to pick this up, I highly recommend you get it. It is very good. And I don't think it gets enough love because it is a very cool game. So I want to give a shout out to the indie guys. This is a super cool game. So again, 7 people in the chat. I only see 2 or 3 in there. So yeah, pop in and say hi, please. I'd love to give you a shout out. The next one on the list is one that I was pleasantly surprised. I'm a big Green Ronin fan. I love Mutants and Masterminds. I'm very excited that the 4th edition of Mutants and Masterminds is coming out. I originally said I wasn't going to back it because I'm like, I've already got 3. I have all 3 editions of Mutants and Masterminds. And then I saw it and I had to back it. So I'm weak. What can I say? My buddy Tom, Ugly Cat, did a Kickstarter of this and he didn't like it. He thought it was too political or it didn't scratch the itch. And so he sent it to me. So I got this in the GM screen and a little pamphlet that came with it. And I read it. I actually read this one cover to cover. I really enjoyed it. It was a good read. It's historical, but it diverges into the supernatural. So there's a lot of Cthulhu type horror in here. Obviously, it's in the name, Cthulhu Awakens. And it's just really well done. The art is phenomenal. The layout of the book is really well done. And it's a different take on Cthulhu. You get some powers, you get some things, but it's done in that fantasy age type system. It uses the age system, the adventure game engine, but it's got some cool art in it, definitely. And Wiki, do you have this one? Does anybody else in the chat have this one? It's got all kinds of encounters. This is a self-contained book. You don't need to buy anything else. And I believe it has a couple, it has a character creation example. It goes through. So if you've played Fantasy Age, if you've played Dragon Age, you're familiar with the mechanics. They've just tooled it up a little bit and made it flavorful for Cthulhu, and it's really well done. It's a very good read. There is a lot of political stuff in here. If you're into like World War I politics and slight World War II, there is some politics. So I could see where Ugly Cat didn't like it, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was relevant to the genre and it made a lot of sense. So it's super cool, actually. So yeah, if you haven't checked this out, if you're a fan of Green Ronin, this is a buy in my book. I did not pay for this. Ugly Cat sent it to me for free because he did not like it, but he knew I was a fan of the age system, so he asked me if I wanted it. That what makes it sound better? The fact that it uses the age system? I think so. And like I said, I mean, you got the spooky background picture, and it's very well put together. I was bummed that they didn't come with ribbons in it, but it seems to be the trend right now. But yeah, it's really well done. The art makes sense. It's very period, the 1930 or 1930s through 1950s. That Cthulhu. So if you don't like, Yeah, Wiki, I feel this one has a good political structure, but it's not the emphasis of play. It's an RPG. You're rooting out conspiracies, you're rooting out cultists, you're finding the things that go bump in the night, and you're dealing with it. And maybe it causes you to go a little hoo-hoo, but that's the chance you take when when you stare into the abyss stares back. And so, yeah, really well done. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's relatively cheap. And, you might even find, I hate to say this, you might even find it in the discount bin at your local game store, or find it, cheaper on eBay or something. So, or even Noble Knight Games might have it. But it was a successful Kickstarter. And everyone I know, it got good reviews. The guys at Green Ronin did reach out to me and thanked me for doing their review. They did send me a couple free of their PDF e-zines, which was very nice. I still haven't gotten a chance to read those yet, but they're on my desktop. I just have to find time to read them. But yeah, pretty happy with this. I enjoyed it. Will I GM it? Probably not. Would I play? Yeah, I would play in this because I like the Fantasy Age system. I'm not a huge horror guy. As far as GMing horror games, it's not my cup of tea, but I would probably do it. And if I was, this would be the one I would use just because I like the Age system. I'm a big Fantasy Age fan, and Fantasy Age second edition came out, I think, what was that, last year? And it's really, really good. Go into Doobly-Doo and check out my review. So yeah, Cthulhu Awakens by Green Ronin. Very cool. All right, man, we're chewing through these, and we only been online for about 45 minutes. Last but not least, this is one that kind of just fell by the wayside. And I don't know what happened to it, because I thought it was a really cool game. And there was a lot of Eldritch Gits. It's probably my go-to Cthulhu game. Eldritch Gits, it's right up there somewhere. You may not be. Yeah, it's right there. Actually, you can't see it. There it is. I got my copy. I back all of Jay's Kickstarters. So, yeah, Iron Kingdoms. It came out with 2 big core books back in that era of when, the big books, and it was $60. So it was a little chunky, but man, you get a lot of bang for your buck in this game. The GM screen, I think you could stop a bullet with. It was an amazing GM screen. It came with a bunch of cards for your mechs, or your jacks, as they're called, steam jacks. So this is a fantasy steampunk game, and it basically came out of the miniatures game, Iron Kingdoms. What was the miniatures game? What was it called? War Machine. War Machine, and then the fantasy, the non-mech game was called Hordes, which was big creatures and monsters. And so you had War Machines, and then they kind of congealed the rules and kind of brought them a little more close. And then it was War Hordes. So you could play War Machine versus Hordes. You could play them against each other. So this is a 2d6 system plus mods and everything. And again, it's a d6 system. You would think Mr. Mean would hate it, but I like this system. Character creation is really cool. The art in here, at the time, these guys were giving Games Workshop a run for their money on the miniatures game. Their games were very popular. There's one of the Steam Jacks. They had a bunch of different factions. The Church of Menoth was one of my favorites. And then the Trollkins. And you can play a Trollkin in this game. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a bookmark in here? I thought I saw something. Yeah. So I was reading up on equipment. I was probably going to run this at one. I did run it for a short period of time in my local game when I lived down in Louisiana. And it was a lot of fun. So have you heard of this one? Have you played it? They did do a D20 version. And then I think they came out with the fantasy version of it. But I don't think it went much further than that. I think the Privateer Press kind of went under at that point, and they didn't really do anything else with it. I know the D20 version was, I think, 3.5. And so I don't think it's gone any further than that. But now there's a new company that has the license for the miniatures, but I don't believe they have the license for the tabletop RPG. But man, if you can pick this up, this is a banger. They had a cool monster. They called it the Monster Nomicon, which was really cool. And I do have it for this version. They also came out with it for the uh, D20 version, the 3.5 version. But this is a banger. Steampunk set in an alternate reality, alternate world, with all these different factions fighting. So a little bit of politics in this as well, but you could play it more as like an adventure game, you know, like a dungeon crawler or whatever. And you had jacks and everything. So really cool game. And added a little, like you could almost solo play this, really easy, because you had your character, and if you were um, I forgot what they called the mages that controlled the jacks. Um, not a war priest. If you were archetypes, page 115. A goober. You can play a goober. Nis were like elves. Ogren were like ogres. Trollkin were trolls. But you choose two careers. Arcane Mechanic, which was the guys that could control the mechs, I believe. The goober, Mr. Square Peg, what's up, sir? I mean, yeah, you could had a whole bunch of different classes in here. They had mages, and it was a fun game, man. The miniatures game was a lot of fun. I had a Trollkin army, played a couple of times, and then, like I said, I moved. And when I moved from Louisiana to Texas, I didn't have a community to play with. Doing good here. That's good to hear, Mr. Square Peg. I'm glad you're well. Have you heard of Iron Kingdoms? Do you know about the RPG? We were talking about a bunch of different RPGs, and so I was just some games that didn't get enough love, and I feel they deserve more love. So I wanted to talk about them a little bit. But it is getting close to 10 o'clock, and I am old, tired, and cranky. And so I'm going to wrap it up, but I wanted to just talk about these games and maybe put them on people's radar. And hopefully they're games that maybe you haven't thought. The D20 version, not the D6 version. Yeah. The D6 version it was the same rules that you used for the miniatures game. So if you played Iron Kingdoms, the miniatures game, you know the rules. They were very, very similar. And that was their whole concept, was they wanted you to be able to take the miniatures and drop them into the RPG world and have mechanics that were clear and concise. And I thought it was a really good game. I thought it was yeah, the D6 version existed first. And then they made a D20 version. It got a lot of accolades for the Monster Nomicon because of the book and the chick, the goth witch on the cover. But yeah, really cool game. If you see this on your gaming shelf or at your table, or yeah, Privateer Press is I think someone bought the rights. I think they're still around making paints. I'm not quite sure what the status is with Privateer Press. But yeah, super cool game. If you get a chance, this is another one I wouldn't mind running on the channel. I think it would do well. Theater of the Mind, there's no Foundry or any VTT support for it. Oh, thank you, sir. I'll probably have to go in and approve you. But thank you, man. Just a grognard talking about RPGs. And what I like and what I don't like. You know, everybody's got an asshole, right? Everybody's got an opinion. That's me. So yeah, Iron Kingdoms, man, clear, awesome game. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. To all 5 of the people in the chat here, thank you so much for watching. Those that did watch and dropped out, thank you. Yep. All right, Mr. Square Peg. I love the name, by the way. What was the name of the snail? Was it Carl or Earl? I don't remember, for SpongeBob. I personally couldn't stand SpongeBob, but he's 27 now. My son loved SpongeBob. My oldest son, I have a 9-year-old. Thank God he doesn't know what SpongeBob is, and I don't want him to know. I think SpongeBob's kind of died out. I don't even know if it's still on the air. But yeah, so anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe as always. Join the Discord, join the Patreon if that's your thing. It helps the channel out. I really appreciate it. As always, pass this on to your friends. Let them know I'm out there. I think I've got like not quite 1,600 subscribers yet. So we're slowly growing, man. We're grinding away. So I would love to hit 2,000 by the end of the year. That would be awesome. 2,000 subs would be amazing. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to buy subscriptions? I was like, no. I don't need to grow. I do this for me. I don't do it for the accolades or for anything like that. So not my jam, man. Don't come at me like that. That's a quick way to get deleted. So SpongeBob has been out for 27 years. Isn't that crazy? My son, my oldest son, is 27. He was born in January or January 17th. God, I can't remember my son's birthday. January 17th? Yeah, January 17th, 1999. Right before I shipped out to Desert Storm. So, yeah. So anyway, I hope everyone is having a great night. Thank you so much. It was a nice chat for almost an hour. Peace and hair grease. Thank you so much. Hang in there. Be well. All right, guys. Have a great night. Be good, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Remember, as always, Mr. Mean says be nice. Wiki, thank you, brother. Mr. Square Peg, Emerus, everybody else that jumped in the chat. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.